Well, I want to talk about some of those new hitters and kind of some of the stuff we got in with those pitchers as far as got afraid of some guys. I mean, there's some loud contact. There's some big dudes coming. I mean, there's some high-level guys with a lot of at-bats and a lot of experience. And I think our pitchers got caught in that trying to outthink the hitters a little bit and got out of their element, started making those at-bats a little personal. And I have this plan, and I'm going to do this little 10-point plan. And then as soon as the first pitch doesn't go their way, it's like,
now what? Now what?
You know? But we had these ideas like we talk about ramming guys in a little bit, but guys, I'm not throwing a purpose ball, just to set a tone, because now I'm behind in the count, and then I got to get back in, and if I don't, I'm 2-0, and we found ourselves in that position about 12 times.
Well, the Jesus, I mean, I think there was one at bat in the series for us that we got. We were 1-0 on him every time, and 2-0 every time except for once, I think. You know,
it's a different presence in the box, and I think guys are. Really cool. You know, he has an approach, so he's kind of hunting a spot, and he's hunting a certain pitch in the zone, so it makes pitchers a little weary, and it's like get ahead of him, and you can get him off his plan and make him aggressive, and then he's going to hit your pitch instead of just he's sitting there hunting and waiting for it, and you're kind of up there a little bit hesitant. It's taking more. It's taking more freedom to be able to attack and approach these guys still aggressively and know that you can get them out. We talked about with a couple of those hitters. Why don't you think these guys got out of A-ball?
Yeah,
there's a reason.
Yeah,
it's not your stuff. Yeah. We saw him hit out a 95-mile-an-hour sinker, left-handed slider, right-handed slider, fastball middle end, fastball away. Why do you think he didn't get out of A-ball? I told these guys it's not about your stuff. You get trying to hump up and throw your wipeout pitches. From the first, you're trying to punch the dude out. You're trying to punch him out with no strikes, and it's like
it's impossible.
First of all, baby, you got to race 2 strikes, get 2 strikes. But it's like no, he guys get picked apart a little bit, and there's holes, and you get to a certain level where location, and you sell out to location, and that you trust your command, you trust your delivery, and then you just get the pitch to where it needs to get. And it does its job for you. Instead of making it personal and trying to, got to ram it in there, and I really got to throw this one 2 miles an hour harder to beat him, because if I don't, he's going to smoke it. And they flatten out, muscle up, and they leave it up, and they get hit a little bit.
They're throwing it slower, and
yeah. So
it's like the thing you talk about when you try to strike the guy out on the first pitch. It's the same thing for like hitters where they're down 4 or 5 runs, swinging at the first pitch. I'm going to hit the 6-run homer. They're both impossible, but you see it all the time.
See it a lot. But I thought we did a better job of calming down a little bit. We kind of talked about that out in the bullpen and made those guys like walk me through a stance, because we want to talk about reading swings, and they want to talk about sequencing and reading swings and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, guys, now I'd love to talk about reading swings. It's like, but you read the swing of the guy who's on time. So who's on time? And then you want to read that swing. I was like, if we're going to read a guy's swing, what's his stance? Where's he at according to the plate? Where's he at in the box? What's his setup? Is he open? Is he closed? What's his leg? Has he got a leg lift? Does he dive? Does he step open? There's a lot more than just, I got to read this swing and I got to pitch to the swing. It's like, well, not necessarily have to pitch that swing. It's like if he's cutting himself off, has bad angles, and he's not on time, you're going to try and outthink a guy that has no approach, and you just got to execute your pitch, and you're going to get him out. So a little bit of confusion there, I think, trying to pitch the swings when some guys can't even execute pitches they want consistently in a bullpen, but you're sitting there trying to paint on a dude, and just stick to your strengths. And we kind of got back to stick to your strengths. If it matches up with his weakness, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
If it's strength on strength, that's called a challenge. And then you really have to execute. Whoever executes right there wins. Exactly. So you have to embrace that and embrace contact. And we've done a better job of that as the week went on, embracing the contact and not shying away from it. I think we just kind of forced the miscue a little bit, and we put ourselves behind. But before we know it, wake up and remember the count. I'm like, I've thrown 3 pitches. I'm 2-1. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I throw 3 fastballs.
And the other one too that's big for me is especially facing guys like Brandon Phillips, DeJesus, Eric Young. Those guys that have been around. Like, we think our breaking ball is something
you don't think
never
he's seen one.
He's never seen. Brandon Phillips has seen 500 million breaking balls, baby. So
all angles, all shapes, all velos. So it's like, come on.
He's seen everything. So like you said, it's that challenge, challenge that we need to embrace. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far. But you can see it. You can see it happen.
Bullpens have got better. The routines are set in. Yeah.
The game's speeding up on guys, mentally, and it happens. It happens. A good example is, I'll talk about Cameron Day Suggs, which he started in center field yesterday, and he loses the ball in the sun, makes an error. And he's very upset with himself, and I think the game sped up on him a little bit. We talked about it in the dugout. Me and Mike talked to him about it, and just say, relax, baby, because the very next pitch or the very next hitter hit a soft liner into center that he's probably not catching anyway, but he tried to force the catch and it got away from him, gave the guy a triple and extra base there. So those are the things that really, to me, for Day Suggs is huge, because he can learn from that and understand, like, it's okay to drop a ball. Like, it's okay to make a physical error. But when we try to compound that, it's just like you talk about after 3 pitches, it's like a blackout. Like, oh, God, it's 2-1. Oh, no, I got to do this. You know what I mean? Like, hey, those are going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, so understanding how to navigate from a non-emotional stance, you know, where we talk about being in your character, and because your character shouldn't have any of those type of emotions. And so if we can kind of get those guys to that, it's hard. It really is.
It is. But just to add on to Day Suggs, because something he did that was impressive after that was he made those mistakes in the outfield. You know, his next at bat though, he came up. I think he was
worked at full count.
Yeah, full count. It was one
first
out
and third. 2 outs, first and third.
2 outs, first and third. Worked a tough at bat. Ended up walking to get on base, and it was. But he calmed himself down. He was able to put his head back into the moment. He's a young dude, and I really see a lot out of him. It's amazing to watch what he does. He's going to be really good through time. He's gotten a lot, way better in the past. Yes. It's unbelievable to watch this dude work, and he's young, you know. So he's going to make some mistakes, and that's okay.
And we want him to,
yeah.
So we can teach him
exactly, because that's
you're not going to learn if you don't make the mistakes.
100%.
You're going to continue that's what kills me sometimes too. Is some of the guys that come in here, especially with the Freedom, they have success right off the bat, you know. And it's like it's hard to make them better because they think they're better. The ego thing comes in. They think they're the best right now. It takes a couple of bad outings for a pitcher, or it takes a couple of bad at bats or bad games for a hitter to, and we're just waiting. You know, we're like the lion in the tall grass, waiting for those guys to come to us for the help, because we can give it to them. But it's hard to help a guy who thinks he's better than it right now. So it's great that he has those failures, and it's great to be able to get him in the game and be able to have those failures, because next time it's not going to happen again, because he understands. And you could see it, man, when he was upset. He felt like he was letting the team down. But, hey, we're not letting us down. We can take blows. It's a boxing match, baby. We're taking blows. They're rock'em sock'em robots, but ours is actually a calculated, a Mayweather fight where it's calculated. We're going to get hit a little bit, but calculated, come back, 100%. Win the game.
And you can put, like, to add on to that too, talk about the bench play. He's upset, all this stuff. And I've been talking bench play a lot, really, with both teams, because I think it is so important.
It is.
People will take for granted what the bench does for
one of the best right here.
100%. And when it comes, like, you came in after those, and every dude out there, and you're talking about some pretty elite dudes, had his back immediately. Went up to him, yo, you're good. And that was probably the most impressive thing out of it all, is they all picked him up. They all had his back. Even though it was a frustrating day, to sit there and to have that feels good as a teammate. And it's really good to see just on the outside perspective, outside of the player side, because you can kind of do it as a coach, but from the playing side, where emotions and money and all this stuff kind of get thrown in together,
and the fans,
all that stuff. But to have that, what we have here is just an unbelievable culture, on both sides. Really,
all three sides.
All three sides, honestly.
Gladiators, the Y'alls, and the Freedom. You're right. That's it. I mean, it's all three sides. You're right. The culture's great. From a fan standpoint, it's hard, especially if you're a diehard Reds fan or a diehard Y'alls fan or a diehard Freedom fan or a diehard Lexington fan. It's hard to see those mistakes happen in the game, because you think that dictates the game, like whether it's won or lost, and that's not what it is typically. Sometimes if you make an error in the ninth inning to lose the game, sure, that maybe dictated it, but what happened leading up to that in the fifth inning when, this guy didn't do this or made a bad pitch or whatever, or even the umpire sometimes comes into play. So one play does not hinge on whether you win or lose, and that's where I think as a fan, if fans could get better at watching the game and understanding that those moments, especially in this league, especially in the Frontier League, and even in the big leagues, I'll say it, even in the big leagues, those things happen to guys. It's a learning moment, and they can get better from that. And you'll see they're going to take a step in the direction of their career based upon that failure in a positive direction or a negative direction. And we're looking for the positive every single time.
That's kind of how, from me as a player to coaching, I was the same way as a player, where I would take the negatives as a negative instead of as a learning moment. So anything that happened negative to me as a player, it would be on my head the entire night, the next day going into BP, the whole next game. I got to be better. I can't get released. You know, I got to do this, got to do that.
We can go all the way back to high school.
You can.
I said it. You know, I coached him in high school, and I was making a joke the other day. I think we were talking to Jed. I said the only reason why he plays is because his mom was a principal. She threatened to fire me. That's a joke. It's an absolute joke, by the way. Ruth is an amazing woman, and she was a great boss. And she might not. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. But no, you know, it's kind of that thing where it's like, oh, he was terrible. Well, he was great, but he would carry those emotions and like you punch out in a big situation. In high school, it's tougher for kids because they're 2 games a week, right?
Yeah, you only play twice a week,
and there were 7 innings, right? There were 9.
You know, you wanted to.
So it's like, man, everything's got to happen right here. Like, I'm going to go to college. I got to do this. I got to do that. And my dad's on me, and which his dad was great too. You know, he told me I could make him run 15 miles if I needed to. So it was great. But you're exactly right. And then talk about your college, like how it kind of transferred.
Yeah, it did. College was rough for me, honestly, because I was always so hard on myself. Like, there's nobody that's gonna be harder on me than I was on myself. So I would always hold that in me, and then I'd want to go and impress so bad as a player. You know, I bounced around 4 different schools.
Was it JUCO first, right?
Yeah, I went to JUCO Angelina.
So not only are you impressing your coaches there, but you're trying to get the next.
Right. Yeah.
School,
I mean, you're always trying to impress, whether it's trying to get to Division I school or trying to get drafted or free, whatever it is. You know, I was always trying to impress. You know, so I ended up, you know, overly trying to impress, not having a great freshman year. Got redshirted, transferred to Seminole. Fall ball was easy. I was relaxed. I dominated in the fall. You know, I'm starting for the first 2 or 3 weeks in the regular season. Then, you know, I get in a little bit of slump, and I got to get out. I got to get out of it right now, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just got worse for me.
Yep.
So then I ended up transferring one more time because the rest of my season, the guy behind me came in and just went off. So he was going to play. Transferred again. Then, you know, some coaches wanted to change my swing. It was another thing. It was always year to year. Someone's trying to change your swing. They see something, they want to change it versus grabbing me for what I was and just starting to add to it. And that's what I love with our approach situation is we're not changing swings, but we're buying them into what are your strengths in the strike zone. Let's attack those strengths. But anyways, so the whole concept is, you know, I'm trying to impress them. Finally, my senior year, you know, I said, forget about this. I want to be myself.
Yep.
Then I ended up being, you know, all-conference, first team all-conference catcher, all-defensive player of the year. I ended up winning like 4 or 5 awards that year throughout the conference. And I was just like, I'm going to do myself. I'm not going to listen to really.
You're going to listen. You're going to listen, but
I'm not going to, you know. You're right. I want to be myself. Like this is the first time I'm
not saying don't listen
career.
to your coaches. We're saying listen. Pull the things that help you.
I want to be myself. Yeah. I want to be myself, and they're always trying to make me someone that I wasn't. Versus, I think all of us are really good at letting the players be who they are. Yeah. That's why we get a lot of the talent out of our players. But then I get the invite to spring training with the Cats. And the same situation. I get in there and I want to impress.
Who was there? Me and Chet were there.
Yep. Funny coincidence. Random, too.
Yeah, I hadn't seen you in 4 years.
Yeah. So. But, I mean, it's always the same situation. I wanted to impress so bad, and I was so hard on myself. And finally I get into coaching, and I got a different perspective on things. Like, okay, this is a learning moment. This is a learning moment. So, like, everything I'm doing is just all about learning. I finally bought into that mindset, and then all of a sudden I'm taking off on my knowledge of baseball versus as a player, I'm so tied up into trying to be good right now and what can I do right now.
You think about it. A question for all of you guys: how much better of a player would you be if you knew the things you knew now from this side of it?
And I won't talk about that.
I would be. They'd be talking about me like
I won't talk about
like they talk about Mike Trout.
Jr. and
They'd be talking about me like they talk about Mike Trout. That's what. I'd be 42 years old right now, still playing the big leagues.
I'd be hitting lefties.
That's crazy.
Probably setting the home run record, breaking Pete Rose's record, Ricky Anderson's stolen base record. I mean, I'd be doing
all of it, huh?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
I'm just saying there's
nobody can prove me wrong. It's 50-50. Everything is 50-50, guys. Everything in your life, in the world, is 50-50. And it's 50-50. And you can't tell me it wouldn't have happened, Brian.
I can't tell me. Because it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Can't say it.
But the moral of it is, I think we do a great job of letting the guys be themselves, and we don't put the pressure on those guys in those certain situations. We want them to learn from it, and I think that's why we get a lot of guys picked up out of here.
I agree.
Well, it's kind of like I think all these guys understand what it means to have. The game is 90% mental, 10% physical. Because I broke it down for those pitchers, and we can break it down for a hitter. Break it down real quick. And kind of justify it is, how long does it take you to swing a bat? How long does it take you to physically swing a bat?
0.2 seconds, maybe. I don't know.
Go half a second. Round up, half a second. How many bats are you going to get in a game?
5, 4, 5, depends on the game.
Five's a... We'll go 5.
It's been kind of the average this year. We're being honest.
Yeah. 5 games.
5 at bats.
Or 5 at bats. How many times are you going to swing the bat in one at bat?
Average.
I think a
2.
good player, maybe 1 to 2.
So we'll go 2.
Let's go 2.
So 2, 5 at bats. That's 10 swings, which took you half a second, which is 5 seconds of work. 5 seconds of work.
For 3 hours, and for us it's been 4 hours.
Sometimes 4 hour game.
4-hour game that's going to go on your stat line. 5 seconds of physical work. So I think we got a good understanding of getting them to know the time and the prep and what are you doing in between, because when you get in the box, there's 5 seconds that's really going to go.
That's a lot more than 90%. A lot more. So I think you're being generous by saying 90% mental, 10% physical, because it's got to be closer to that 95, 96%.
Well, I think that in the big scope of things is like an average big league game is 3 hours, 180 minutes.
Sure.
And then the ball's in play actively by a player only 15 to 20 minutes. So when you average that out, 18 minutes out of 180 is 10. But then when you break it down even more, like we talked the pitchers and then the hitters,
yes,
5 seconds of work in the course of 3 hours, like, hey.
Yep. And it's like a donut, bringing it back to the 1 pitch rounds.
Yep.
Make your swings count.
So that's how we design everything that we do to kind of make that focus and that understanding of, because it's easy to go MVP and get 6 swings and have 3 terrible swings and then finish with the last 3 really good ones. You feel really good about what you've just done, but it was really half the work. Like you did really good for half of it and really bad for the other half. So that one swing kind of, and we don't let them stay in there. Like if they foul one off, we treat it like a count, which is great too. I like that. I like adding that into there. So they pop it up into the cage. It's like, okay, it's 0-1 now, or I throw a ball and now it's 1-1. And we work the count. And I yell it out. Like now, it's all thinking counts. So it's really nice to get that focus.
Competitive mindset.
Yeah,
it's all about that efficiency.
Can I switch gears just a little bit? I've got to talk about something that we haven't talked about the entire show, and what's helping our guys a lot too is this video thing we got going on. These analysts, right? Like Jared Cheek with this big time camera. I mean, these guys here have these $15 million cameras for us, which is great. That's why I fixed my hair today, because I knew that their cameras were expensive. So it's crazy. But this big time camera, he's giving us an angle, like a big league angle from center field. He's cutting up videos for our hitters, doing the BPs. He did the infield double play stuff for me the other day. Craigie's live throw. I mean, the live BP stuff. So all these things that our players have direct access to, we're able to come right in from the field, and he can cut video for a guy right there, and it's crazy. And he's got Max Dobello helping him out. Yep. Cornell, right? He's going to Cornell. He's getting ready to leave here pretty soon. Actually, maybe he already left, leaving today, so he's quitting on us. But he's going to do work from there.
He'll be back.
So he's going to do work from there, and so he's back to school. And David Halberin, I mean, I can't say enough about this kid. He's our players thought he was like 26 years old, and they're talking to him like he's been coaching for 15 years.
It's nice the way he talks to him.
Is that not amazing?
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. They brought it up the other day in the dugout. How old is he? Like 26, 25? Like, he's 18. He's heading to Ohio State as a freshman year, and they're like, whoa, they're blown away. And I've got, Logan Wyatt asking him about his swing and stuff because he thinks he knows what he's talking about. But he does know what he's talking about.
He's very convicted and he understands it.
Yeah. He has got with us and ran with what he's doing. He's thrown some BP. Yesterday he had a little tough day of BP, but he's learning how to throw BP. He's going to be a phenomenal coach one day. But he's helping out with the video stuff as well. Coached first base for me. Gives the guys the information. I mean, without those guys, this thing wouldn't be as good as it is.
You got to give Key some love.
Key Stewart, I mean.
On the close.
I mean, he's.
Look at all the stuff he's got to take care of.
He's taking care of.
Two teams. 3 teams. 3 teams a day, because there's always one of them if it's not us.
You think about his clubhouse manager, like sometimes the team's on the road, so you got a few days to kind of collect recharge your batteries, so to speak. Now here, baby, he's every single day. Even today on the off day, we've got pitchers come in. I went for a run, so my stuff's got those things, and it's like the guy just he does a good job. He stays under his cool. One thing about one of those Lexington guys came the other day, and was like, where the blank is my crap, blank, 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 without even, he's like, hey, calm down, baby, let's figure it out. Well, apparently one of his teammates already took his stuff down to the field, so he came at Key for nothing. I think he ended up apologizing later, but it's the wrong way to approach a guy like that because we don't even get a clubby over there. I think the GM is doing the job now. So, but Key does a phenomenal job. He goes definitely unnoticed. Takes care of the guys during the game, water if we need anything. He gets it done. I mean, it's...
Stan has helped out.
Yeah, he's taking classes, too, at the same time.
Yeah, he's taking classes
He's on
as well.
top of it with a good attitude every day. It's working hard, man.
Hayden's been good, too.
But he's been good. But I'm not going to give him a whole lot of love until he puts on the
100%.
Batman suit.
He's got to put the Batman suit on.
Got to put it on.
I missed it.
I think
missed
more,
it, too.
you can go Robin. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
little
That's
Batman
where-
and Robin.
That's a
I had a
little
good idea
dynamic.
for Ball Boy. I don't know if I want to say that on camera.
Yeah,
He's
you
gonna
need
do that one.
education.
I do like Batman and Robin.
So, but yeah, I mean, those guys are doing the video stuff for us. I mean, we set up an office for them, and it's crazy the amount of time they're putting in for those guys.
It's awesome.
It really makes it easy for us to kind of help these guys because we can go back and see. We talked about Watley being a little late with his step, being able to show them immediately, show an immediate change and immediate,
He had a huge game that day.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He did. So we talked about the stance, all that. But anyway, not to keep us going, but let's get these players of the week done.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, real quick. I want to talk about triple play.
Boom!
We had triple play
I had
yesterday.
no idea.
Yeah, we had triple play yesterday. Just real quick, a little five unassisted, 4-3 triple play. We do those double plays that Mike has.
Wait a minute. Five unassisted.
4-3.
4-3.
So he got all 3 outs, and then he threw it 4-3?
5 unassisted,
Oh.
4-3 triple play.
Well, they couldn't see your foot.
Yeah.
So
5
catches it, steps on third,
ground ball, steps on third, throws
throws
second.
a second.
Yeah.
So who was the third baseman?
We had Baker over at third. Then
Willie
Harry.
Baker. Willie
Yeah.
Baker.
And
Feeds
Harry
it
at
to who?
second.
Feeds it to who at second base?
Harry. Then Nicola.
Harry, first game? Second?
Second
Harry,
game. Second game of second.
game.
Yep. Second game of second.
Makes a nice turn to
Yeah.
first base. Who's playing?
Richard.
Jackson
Money first
Richard.
base.
He's a catcher. He's going to catch the ball.
he got
Hey,
it.
though, if I'm putting money on who's going to get a triple play that
not
way,
those 3 guys.
That's not my mix.
It's not your 3
That's not my
guys.
top mix.
That's 100%.
Baker's
got it.
Baker's
That's
second game at third. Harry's second game
We
at
worked
second.
on those.
We worked awesome.
We
Yeah,
worked
nice.
on them for a year and a half.
Part of the double play,
Yeah,
right?
as soon as
It
they come
is,
back in the dugout, nobody tell Mike Morris. Nobody tell Mike. Nobody tell Mike.
Big
Yeah.
thing? Any other big?
Man,
What
Winokur
is
made
it?
a nice play against us yesterday. In
I didn't see that one.
the sliding catch.
Oh.
And then Nick King made a sliding
King
catch.
made an unbelievable
Big time catch after the home
After
run. He's the one that hit the
the-
home run with the illegal bat. And it kind of fired him up a little bit, I'm
Yep.
sure. But man, he made a nice play down the right field line,
Unbelievable.
sliding into that brick wall,
Oh, yeah?
making this catch. It was
Probably
Check
one of the
that out.
better
not a
ones
triple
I've seen.
play by any means,
But it was nice.
It was
Yeah.
nice. Don't expect that to happen
Yeah.
with really
Especially in
anybody.
that wall.
That's a tough play for anybody.
Harrison made a
That
few
wall,
good
man.
plays.
Oh, Harrison at short.
He's made a
nice.
lot
He's
of
nice
good
at
plays,
short.
man.
Beautiful play.
He's nice at short.
It's been pretty
They
impressive.
got some nice pieces. I kind of like
They
the
do.
competition and the way it's going. I wish it would have been this kind of from the get go.
Sure.
Just with the lopsided as far as wins and losses makes it a little tainted, and I think the guys play a little different over there because
They
of
do.
it.
Yeah.
And so but there's some good pieces. Elmore kid's got a really nice arm out there. He's put together some tough
he's
at
a
bats.
hose.
He's a little different. I don't see him out there every day. Drew Ellis came in just a
Drew
week or two
Ellis,
ago.
big
He's been
hitter.
barreling some balls.
No,
they
it
got
is
the
nice,
second guy.
but I think you're still going to see it because even though that they're mathematically eliminated from winning the league, both those teams, I think that our teams don't look at that at all. So it's
Yeah.
still going to be competitive, and they're going to want to win. They're going to win it. They're probably watching these things thinking, these guys, we're going to get them. We're going to get them, which is great. I
Yeah.
want it. I want the best. I want the best
Competition,
competition.
Yeah,
I don't
so
want
you
them
don't
to
get better
fold.
playing 10-year-olds all the time.
Exactly.
100%.
It's a great one. I don't want to play you when you don't want to be there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If this thing needs to be important for your career, and if it is, maybe you give me everything you got because it treat every day like you're 0-0.
Yeah.
You know
I think we've seen that this week. I think it's it's getting a little more intense, but I'm loving it.
That's where it all comes back. We were talking about the bunning up or anything like that. The one thing I've always learned is that's not out of disrespect. It's more out of a lot of respect because you're not going to do that unless you've been beat when you're up by 8 and you lose that league. Which has happened to every one of us, guaranteed. We respect teams by beating them, and playing through the game. And, in the sense of development, we go back to stunning as a habit. If you take off those at-bats, or even if you're up in those games and you're giving up at-bats or you're just going through the motions, that's not good for you. You play one way every single time, and that's what you become, So it's important, I hope they run the score up on us.
Yes.
Because then they're doing their job.
Yep.
And it's the same thing on our side. Like, the game never stops. It's the same game. Especially in, like, when we're here, that's where you're going to get better, and that's when you're going to do the things that you need to do. I'm not going to stop playing. We're not going to take the foot off the gas, and neither team should. Neither side should.
And you shouldn't play the game based upon the umpire, based upon who you're playing, based upon who's throwing against you. Like you said, it needs to be the same every single day.
It's like your pitcher's running. When a pitcher's running, and all these guys that there's a couple different guys that like the conditioning type of thing. It's there's the guy who likes to do his work. He's got to focus on his work, and there's the guy who wants to tell that guy, hey, slow down a little bit, man. That way I can look good too. And it's kind of like, no, bro. Like,
push each other.
No, you make yourself, like you keep up. Don't, like, come on, man, keep up. Like,
guys need it. The best players need that competition, and they need you to push them.
Absolutely.
That's what made Mike Morris so great. He pushed guys to be better in the field because they knew that he would take their spot, and he understood the role off the bench was really good. And obviously he wanted to start, but he didn't realize at the time how important that role is. Maybe he did, but not like he does now. So, but
that's why I like those new lineups, because the pitchers, like, you want to test yourself. You want to see how good you are. Then let's go. You got these at bats.
Hey, so you talk about Brandon Phillips. Sean Hughes got a ground ball. It was hit hard, but first thing he saw, he hit it hard.
Ground balls in the big leagues,
man.
Or hit hard, baby. Or hit hard. So if you can keep him in the yard or off the bases by getting a hard ground ball somewhere, that's a pretty good job, baby. So understand it.
All right, so let's talk about our players of the week and our pitchers of the week. Who do you have? Yep, pitchers. What do we got?
Oh,
starter.
Athletes first, right?
Starter or really? What do you want to know?
Let's go starter first. I want to know who the best starter was this week.
Easy.
I think it is too.
Lars the Destroyer.
The Freedom Killer. He's the Freedom Killer. He's the Freedom Killer.
So, start earlier. I wanted to talk about it. I wasn't there. I was on the road at the time. But I'm looking. I'm like, Lars went 6 with 71 pitches and absolutely diced and carved. And kind of, I talked to him the next day, and it was exactly the way he kind of felt. And he felt the edges a little bit. He could pull some off. He could get it to either side. He picked them apart. And kind of, just tell me about it, though. I want to see live. I got to watch the video, but...
Yeah, it was nice. I think I had him once before that. He didn't look as sharp. And then we get him on Wednesday during the first game of the doubleheader. And it was, for him not being very firm, he was on their hands so often and having him out front and blowing doors late in counts. It was awesome.
Using his stuff.
Constantly in the 0-1 count, just working ahead.
He knows how to add and subtract.
And it was phenomenal. Like, guys, Aikens, I think he just got fisted twice on him, and then he ends up hitting, I think, 1 or 2 bombs in the second game against us. So at first I was thinking, okay, maybe these hitters aren't, as good as what I was thinking that they were going to be coming in, because some of them were the first time I got to see them.
Yep.
But then we got to see game 2, and it was like, no, that was just Lars doing it. That was just Lars doing it, shoving the entire time. Then we get him yesterday. He threw better than what his what it was on paper. It was kind of going back to the umpires a little bit, Unless it was middle early in the game for both sides. It wasn't just us, both sides.
They threw 90 through 3?
90 through 3. I think Lars threw 47 through 2.
Come on, man.
There wasn't a called strike all day. And then all of a sudden, 5th inning turns around and everything's a called strike and nothing's a ball.
Yeah,
it was complete 180. So I felt bad for the guy yesterday. Nothing really he could do about that. He still came out only,
I mean, and that's the thing, like, with Lars, I think I see too, he doesn't change the mentality. Like, he's not getting frustrated. I mean, he's getting frustrated, I'm sure, but he keeps it under control.
He's going to pitch his way out of that. He's not going to throw his way out and try to muscle through it.
Talking about the umpire again, it brought up one more thing. I mean, we had Tyler Fitzgerald getting the lead at third base, Trejo up, who hits the ball very hard, hits a line drive and hits Fitzgerald as he's in his lead from third base, and the umpire calls him out because he says he's in the baseline.
I don't remember last time I took a lead in territory on third base.
As far as kid pitch, coming from kid pitch, my memories of baseball, I have never in my life seen a kid get his lead in fair territory.
Not once.
And these are professional baseball players, so I think I said it. To
Line drive off and called him out.
Called him out.
That was what I got thrown out on.
That is what you got thrown out on. But the reason you got thrown out is because you used the umpire's name. We just talked about that earlier about them using your name to create the fire, but that art of war. You got in there though.
Oh, I'm in there.
And then what happened? You had the plate meeting yesterday. The next day.
And it wasn't even his call, so that was. I will admit that it was not his call.
But you apologized. But it also showed the players you had their back. you know, and which helps those guys. So we ended up winning the game anyway. But anyway, sorry about that, Lars. It was all about you there, and I made it about the umpire again.
Shoved. Excited to see the next one.
Reliever of the week.
Reliever of the week. It's easy. It was a situation more than.
This one's not easy.
It wasn't easy. There was a lot of little performances we saw throughout the week, but the situation of the guy, he pitched a couple times this week.
Give it to me.
The extra inning, sudden death with Kenny Pearson.
Yes.
6 pitches.
Yes.
He got
How
2 ground balls.
Awesome.
With a great play by Massey down the line, laying out, boom, boom. To get the run at second, the runner at second, the lead runner, it was.
Couldn't turn the double play there, but then he hits the next guy, I believe, and gets the double play.
We got Sturgeon right there. Roll him up. Oh,
but to load the base or to get first and second.
Yeah, first and second.
I think he hit Drew Ellis in the elbow.
That's
right. First or second pitch.
Recall.
And that was that bonus you give the guys for trying to pitch in and hit a guy and then get the double play ball next guy.
Yeah, I'm a little lighter in my pocket.
But I think I was talking to Clayton. He was my pitching coach that day. When Drew Ellis came up, I was like, man, I would love for him maybe to get on here because I want to see Pearson against Sturgeon because Sturgeon can hit.
He can bang a little bit.
And it was nice. Got on the hands a little bit for a ground ball. Double play, baby,
boom,
in the
boom,
game.
Boom.
Pearson's nice.
Extra innings, which Florence is undefeated in those extra inning games. I think there's 6 total.
I think so.
It's been phenomenal. I have yet to have a chance to make a decision. So
Same.
You have never made this decision?
No, I made one.
Yeah.
We chose pitching on one.
But that one was one where they thought, I don't think that they knew we had those arms, and we had plenty of time to warm up a guy, and he was like, Pearson, because if he stays on the line, we know his stuff, and we talked about the adrenaline controlling it a little bit. Breathe. We talked about how to breathe, and we've hit on that a little bit of how to breathe and kind of give them a different way to slow the game down and understand how to breathe and go. Just create a different pattern for them that slows it down. In the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the nose, in the mouth, out the nose, in the mouth, out the mouth. Making them think, and it slows them down.
And he's gotten better, so much better.
So much better. I mean, he got my, most growth type of player, but he gets reliever of the week this week. I mean,
That's
got to
nice.
give it to Kenny.
That's nice.
Hard work.
We'll go to the
Y'all's player of the week.
Yeah, we'll go to the Freedom. I've got 3 guys here, and I cannot make this decision, so I'm gonna let Mike make this decision. But I think it's between Trejo, Cedillo, and EP.
Yeah.
EP Reese, baby. Who do you got?
I wish I could give it to them all. Cedillo, obviously, it's fun, really, just watching him go to work every single day. He's always got a plan, no matter what he does. It's hard to say because, it doesn't shock me what he does. Not saying any of these guys shock me because I know they're all good. EP, unbelievable job. He is just, I wish we could see some BP stuff.
You almost dropped an F-bomb.
I almost did. Because it gets me so hyped.
Passionate, baby. I love it.
This
is YouTube, so I think you could say it. But
Try not to.
I didn't say it all. But, you watch him in BP, I wish we could just put a camera on him because it is impressive.
You do have a camera on him.
Well, in the outfield. And watch him in the outfield go get it. It's pretty impressive. It's in center field. You cannot see it. He's in left sometimes, and it's...
You're talking about his defensive work in BP. Which we didn't even get to talk about how important that is.
It's so important, and he goes after it. And, he's such a great dude off the field, and he learns, and it's impressive. He's got some pop in there. He's on the right track with figuring some stuff out.
He's had some progression, too, with the swing since he's been here.
Big time.
He's nowhere
big
near
time.
his ceiling is what...
Not even.
I like
close. It's impressive, but I got to give it to Trejo. This dude...
He broke the scoreboard?
He broke the scoreboard.
He broke the scoreboard. We have someone, hit it through the fence rounds, and he almost hit it through the scoreboard. That was one of the hard... He's one of the guys...
Hits the ball hard.
It's different. It's different when it comes off that bat.
He's a large individual.
Yes, and talk about routine. Love his routine. He plays in a flow. When he's playing just in his competitive moment, he has that time where he kind of shifts to the mechanical side just a little bit. But when he is playing just pure baseball, he's out there playing the backyard baseball mentality.
Man,
he is fun to watch.
La Pesadilla. That's his nickname. The Nightmare. He's a nightmare.
Seriously.
6 for 16 this week with 4 RBIs, 4 runs scored, ball through the scoreboard. Big double last night, late in the game.
That really kind of...
A ground ball through the infield. It almost got to the left center field ball. Yeah. It was hit so hard. He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. So
really fun
I'm right there with you. I like that one a lot. He was my number 1 choice, but it was tough to not to talk about Cedillo and EP. EP's done. Even what EP's doing too is he was coming off the bench. You know, because he came in late, and we told him like the playing time is not going to be a whole lot, but he's actually put himself in a position to earn a lot more playing time.
Yeah.
So, and he's progressed, and he's a guy that I think that Brian White needs to take a serious look at for next year. He's a premium defender. I won't say that he's a plus outfielder just yet because I haven't seen everything, but he's pretty close. He is pretty close to being a premium plus outfielder. I mean, he's already made, you know, not this week, but he made a throw in an extra inning game in Lexington to throw a guy out at the plate on a base hit to left to seal the win for us in the extra inning game. So, I mean, you know, he's done some things really, really well. Have not seen him do anything bad in the outfield, and his swing has gotten better since day one here, and he's a very nice young man as well. He's a great kid, and he works hard. So that's it.
Nice.
It's going to be Trejo for us.
My guy is someone I was very excited to come in and really get to see, and we're talking about the backyard style that y'all talk about with Trail. Same thing, I think we got Mitch Piotnik this week. First time he finally let loose and got out of his shell and stopped pressing.
Early on, he was always worried. He's just worried.
Right. That's kind of the same thing I was talking about earlier with myself as a player. You know, I can see a lot of the similarities in him where he's getting so frustrated with himself. He's hard on himself. But finally, you know, being loose and I think dropping him down that 9-hole took some pressure off of him a little bit, and then Mike's working with him, talking to him with him every day. He's finally starting to take some of these pitches that he shouldn't be swinging at. He's locking into the zone and working the other way. Whenever he's doing that, it's allowing that whole side of the field opens up tremendously for him. He's still dropping the bunts down, but then the pull side pop, he showed that this week with that massive bomb to right center.
Was it left-handed or right?
It was left-handed. But he was loud. He had that infield
athlete.
That infield double? Did y'all see that?
Infield double.
Infield double. The ball never got out of the infield.
It was out of the box.
And he's staying on second base.
It was out of the box. He floats.
Yeah.
He is one of those guys you talk about.
And not to mention, he's the one that got the hit off Genesi, you know, that started the whole thing and, you know, got our guys going. So that was obviously exciting to see him this week. That's my guy. He all 3 games dominated. Then he pitched Saturday through an inning, so he wasn't in the lineup that day. Then got back in there yesterday.
Great week for Florence. I think you guys. I think we were 4-1 on the week. You guys were
3-2. 3-2.
The Leandas were 2-2, and the Lexington Legends were 1-4. So big week for Florence.
Yep.
Looking for another one next week. So
those winning weeks.
We got another big series coming up.
Yeah,
Big series.
I got some revenge.
Baby.
Florence series.
I got some revenge.
Yeah, we got something for Rodney Tinney.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I'll be back in the booth. Back in the booth.
Oh,
you're gonna be back in the booth.
Analyzing?
Thursday.
All right, better talk good about us.
Yeah, always do.
All right, Florence Nation, thanks for joining with us, and we'll see y'all next week.